Welcome to Fun and Development, Player Development Series Volume 1. This is Coach Lou Mignone, the Director of Coaching at West Orange United FC. I'd like to welcome you to the first in a series of webinars that are recorded for parents of players within West Orange United FC during this COVID-19 period of quarantine. I hope that all are safe and healthy. And as we cover some updates and housekeeping, we will keep you posted on the state of play in New Jersey. It looks like there will be a return to play, initial phase of players returning to the field in very limited type of playing environments, beginning perhaps after June 22nd. We will keep you posted on that. Until then, please refer to the YouTube videos that have been put within this playlist for individual technical training. These are ideas that you can share with your children so that they can spend time with the ball on their own, engaging in drills that address dribbling, passing, receiving, redirecting, shooting, and juggling. We will feature presentations each Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. for parents, live webinars through Zoom. They're 30 minutes long, and 30-minute presentations on Thursday afternoons at 4 p.m. for players and parents. So please tune in if you are available. If not, I will create recordings of these presentations and post them on YouTube for you to check out. So keep those in mind. As an icebreaker, we are fully aware of many of the negative things that have occurred during this COVID-19 period of quarantine related to illnesses and deaths. However, can we think back on these past few months and share a positive experience that we've been part of? So when I look back, one of the positives I take away from this, other than spending additional quality time with my wife and children, one of the other things that I kind of take out of this is the ability to connect through online means with parents and fellow coaches, and the ability to reflect upon what I do well in terms of coaching and what I could do better in terms of coaching, and action steps that I can take to improve in those areas. So reflection is something that I've engaged within more during this period when we have more time on our hands, and it's helped me to perhaps become a better learner about myself, and this is in turn hopefully helping me serve players more effectively and serve coaches and parents as well. So I'd like to spend a few moments just introducing the U.S. soccer grassroots movement. It begins with a evidence-based approach to developing training sessions for players, and that is Play-Practice-Play. This methodology was put into play in January of 2018. So for the past 2 years, it's been spreading through clubs from coast to coast in our country. Many coaches have adopted fully this play-practice-play model, and we hope that more will continue to have an open mind and see the benefits that this methodology brings to players. In taking a look at the big picture, we know that 75% of youth players drop out of soccer by the time that they're 13 years of age. So that is 3/4 of the players that began playing between the ages of 5 and 12 have already dropped out. 3/4 of them. The primary reasons for them leaving are they're not having fun and they're not developing the skills to advance to higher levels of the game. And the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services explains to us that this is the first generation to have a shorter life expectancy than the past generation, than the previous generation, their parents. This is due in great part to less active lifestyles and rising levels of obesity. A closer look at this challenge is taken by the Aspen Institute Project Play, who work very closely with the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic committees. And the average age to quit the sport of soccer is 9 years of age. So 9.1 years of age is the average age to quit the game of soccer. And the average years of participation are only 3. So in many cases, soccer is often a rite of passage. A number of children come into the sport and spend a little time, and then they leave the sport off to other interests. Only 5% of youth between the ages of 5 and 18 meet the recommended 60 minutes of moderate physical activity each day. And 62% of children ages 6 to 12 have already quit an organized team sport. Why do children quit, and what are they doing if they're not physically active? This generation has shown an increase, a drastic increase in sedentary hobbies, attaching themselves to sedentary hobbies. CommonSenseMedia.org, the folks who track the websites that are being visited and the time that is spent on various websites and screen time, have identified that children between the ages of 8 and 12 spend over 4 hours each day with screen time, and teenagers spend 7+ hours a day on their devices. And this is excluding time that is spent on these devices during school hours. So what will allow kids to come to a sport and stay within a sport? What can we do to make sure that that is an environment that is inviting to players and motivating for them to stay? Well, Dr. Amanda Visick and her colleagues at George Washington University have developed the fun maps and have put together the fun integration theory, because based upon their continuing research, fun is the single largest predictor of sport commitment and sustained participation in childhood and through adolescence. And incidentally, lack of fun is the primary reason for leaving this sport. So when we talk about motivation and the reason why children stay within sports or stay within a given sport, these experiences have connected with the basic psychological needs as identified by Doctors Ryan and Deasy with the self-determination theory, and that is autonomy. That is the ability for a person who is involved with something to be able to make their own decisions and to have a level of self-direction. Relatedness talks about being part of a group and collaborating with group efforts toward a common goal. And competence is feeling successful in response to challenges that are linked to one's degree of mastery. And that brings a level of confidence as well. So Play-Practice-Play addresses all 3 of these, and it has been specifically designed to address at all times these 3 basic psychological needs. Play-Practice-Play is a games-based approach that children enjoy game-like activities from the time they arrive at practice until the time they leave. And obviously within a game, children have the ability to engage in free play and making their own decisions So that touches upon autonomy. These activities involve two teams. They play directionally with one ball. So each team includes players that are connected to an effort to collaborate with their teammates toward a common goal to build up, create chances, and score goals, and prevent the opponent from building up, denying the opponent's chances, and stopping the opponent from scoring goals. So plenty of relatedness within play, practice, play, and competence allows a coach the ability to adjust the level of challenge within each activity through observing and adapting, and already having less challenging and more challenging versions of the core activity of a practice phase planned to quickly adjust to make sure that players are challenged at their level of mastery. And this brings a sense of competence when one achieves some success at their level of mastery. So the most powerful learning environment for skill acquisition, we believe, has the following characteristics. 1, it allows players to experience the game and look for their own solutions. It allows players to read and understand what's happening around them, making their own decisions, and taking initiative based upon what they are reading on their own. Decisions are based upon information from the game, so it's not based upon information provided by others, such as a coach shouting instructions. It's based upon perceiving what they are taking in from their senses within real time during a game environment. Mistakes within a skill acquisition environment are just part of the learning process, and they encourage players to try, experiment, explore, risk take, perhaps fail, and through these failures reflect, and through the success as well, reflect and try again and fine-tune for each moment within the game. We look to create environments that encourage creativity and fun, and adding to that, decision-making and problem-solving allows players to become critical thinkers, independent critical thinkers, which in turn works on building self-esteem for these players. So we'll stop here, and I'll acknowledge the following individuals that have provided a wealth of information that I summarized today. U.S. Soccer's Coaching Education Department, Dr. Amanda Visick and her colleagues at George Washington University with their fun integration theory and fun maps. Dr. Edward Deasy and Dr. Richard Ryan and the self-determination theory. Aspen Institute Project Play, the American Development Model, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and commonsensemedia.org. And please don't forget to visit the West Orange United FC Facebook page. Connect and follow that page for day-to-day announcements as they become available with respect to return to play and other issues related to the club. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope to see you soon on a future webinar.